everyone, I'm Seren the Healer, and this is a general energy reading for May 2021. All right. For my Scorpio generators, we have the 21, control. So what this is looking like for me is a situation where you got into an argument with someone and it was more important for you to be right than it was for you to salvage the relationship, and now you are out on a stubborn ledge by yourself, contemplating whether or not you want to fix things with this person. Because you feel like you put a lot into it at the beginning, and you feel like there's probably still a lot to gain from being connected to this person. You feel like you still have a lot to offer this person. Probably are still in love with them and may or may not be willing to admit that to yourself right now. But it's definitely a situation where you're in a lot of pain, but you are holding yourself in that place because of your ego. I feel like some Scorpio generators are not even at the point yet to where they're willing to see their part in it. They're still stuck on what the other person did that hurt them. And it's going to take a shift in that perspective to value the connection with the person over that situation, you know? Like, yes, they messed up, they hurt me. Yes, I messed up, I hurt them. But is it a situation where what they did isn't forgivable? Or do I value my connection to this person enough that I can give them a chance to make amends, and I can, start that by going back and making amends for what I did? Sometimes it's not about that. It's about the love. It's about that connection. It's about that person, And there's ways to do that without devaluing yourself or abandoning your own feelings or yourself from your feelings. You still, address that, but you come to them with a, look, I still love you. I still want us to be together. I still want this to work kind of situation, All right, so my Scorpio manifesting generators got the 40, solitude. And actually what I'm seeing with this is a need to get away with your person. Like, you guys need some time to reconnect and be alone together. And it's one of those type of situations where one of you, it might be the one watching, it might be the other partner, but one of you feels like it's not the time right now, we don't have this, we don't have that, we need to do this first. But there's a possibility that you're always going to feel that way, you know? So with that in mind, it's important to schedule things like that. Schedule a weekend alone, schedule a getaway, schedule a vacation, schedule your off days and your off time. This is something that I stress to all my empaths in my program, is that the time for you to rest isn't just gonna, you know, happily appear. If you don't schedule it, then the way that you end up getting it is you get sick, you break a leg, you get tired, you get injured, you know, something happens to force you to take that time. And while you're taking that time, most likely you're not comfortable when it happens that way, you know? You're uncomfortable because you're only taking this time off because now you have to move, or you're only taking this time off because now you can't move, or you're only taking this time off because you're so sick that you can't get out of bed, right? So instead of pushing yourself to those limits, be it the relationship that you're in being pushed to those limits, or your physical body being pushed to those limits, or your connections at work, whatever it is, like, everything can benefit from a break and a rest sometimes. All right. Next out, I have my Manifestor Scorpios with the Perseverance card. And it's that little hummingbird just giving it his best. Just thinking about the reason why she chose the hummingbird probably has something to do with how many beats per second their little wings can generate. And they can hover while they're doing that, you know? So it kind of looks like they're not putting in any effort at all, like a duck, you know, paddling away underwater, but it looks like it's just chilling above water, right? So with this Perseverance card, I feel like this is a situation where someone, probably the Scorpio manifestor, is pushing the limits on something. Maybe you are trying to fix something that is beyond repair, or maybe you are on the brink of discovering something that nobody else has found because they haven't, you know, pushed that hard. But you have to follow your guidance to see which one you are. Are you persevering through a little rough patch, a hard, you know, a struggle that's necessary to be pushed through? Or are you trying to force something that needs to be left alone? Only your guidance can tell you that, and possibly the experience of pushing it and then seeing what happens, right? So, I hate to say that is such a bad thing. It definitely could be a good thing. It could be one of those situations where you're putting in a lot of effort and you're not seeing the fruits of it yet because it's not time, you know. And perseverance, it's definitely an energy that it comes up once things are already hard, you know. It's not necessarily easy going once you tap into your perseverance. But that, again, is why it's important to have a strong foundation and be grounded in why are you doing this? What is your real motivation? What is, you know, what is your desired outcome? If it's just to be right, is it really worth it? Is it just to prove a point? If it's, you know, just look at your motivation, your motive, your mission objective. All right, and then for our projector Scorpios, we've got 30. And what I'm seeing with this one is completely different. It's like, you feel like someone has spoken on your behalf. They have made a decision for you, and it's a decision against what you would have chosen for yourself. And you're in a place of inner conflict and mental, I don't know, anxiety of trying to decide how or if you want to speak on it or bring it up or broach it. And I feel like it depends on the quality of the situation, who this person is to you. It depends on what the decision was that they made, how long you're going to be stuck in the situation that you didn't want to be in, how far it puts you out. All of that needs to be taken into consideration. You know, if it's just something temporary, something small, then and you're wanting to put that person's feelings out front, you might be okay with that for a little while, for something short. But if it's something like picking what house you're living in, or what car you're gonna drive, or what job, you know what I mean? Like, if it's something big, if it's something important, if it's something that spans over a long period of time, the amount of bitterness that you're gonna accrue from not saying anything is likely not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, you definitely want to consider the way that you do it, and the place that you are when you do it, and how you feel when you know, before you bring it up, all of that. But you definitely should bring it up, and you should do what you can to correct that decision. All right. And then lastly, we have our reflector Scorpios with the fantasy energy. All right, so that is one of those gates that connects or reaches towards the root center, I believe. And it has a I don't want to say indulgent, but it's the type of energy that we all need to tap into at some point, that a lot of adults don't like to. They don't feel like it is conducive to adult life, right? But allowing yourself to ponder the possibilities in order to get a good gauge on what you actually want is important. And I feel like that's the aspect of this energy that's coming through for reflectors this month. It's about getting a good gauge on what you actually want. And in order to do that, you first have to deactivate a bunch of filters. And by that, I mean conditioning. And by that, I mean things that have been things that you have used in order to filter out other decisions all through your life. All right. So for example, your gender, you might decide that in order to because you are male, you don't want to ride the pink bike, right? That might be a way to help you to narrow down your choices by saying, okay, well, I know I don't want the pink one, I know I don't want the purple one, but then we have blue, green, we have gray, right? And so when you're faced with a lot of choices, it's necessary to do some deductive reasoning to take some things out of the equation in order to choose, otherwise you won't be able to, right? But there are factors, there are filters, there are things that we use for that don't necessarily apply to us on our own individually when we are in a group, when we are in a certain family, when we live in a certain place, you know. And so by default, there's a lot of viable options that you've likely just ruled out and never considered for yourself because of your height or your gender or your job or your status in your family. You know what I mean? Like there are different things that you just have not considered. So when we take it into a fantasy world, when we take all of that away and you allow yourself to just play with it, what if I wanted the pink one? What if I wanted the purple one? You know, like you let yourself just be free to just wander around in your own, the safety of your own mental space, right? Then other ideas, other things can come to you that you might not have explored before. You know, like maybe you don't want the pink one, but maybe you want one that has more than one color in it, and you never would have thought of that without considering, hey, these other colors look nice too, you know? So I feel like that's kind of the aspect that the reflectors are going to need to kind of explore this month, is just allowing a little magic, a little silliness, a little lightheartedness, a little play into a decision, into the space that you have between when the choice is offered and when you need to make your decision. And as a reflector, you know you need to take your time with making decisions. You need a whole lunar cycle in order to properly make the right decision for yourself. So in that time, let yourself imagine the different, you know, try on, sample the different outcomes for yourself and see which one feels like you, which one feels the best, which one represents you better, regardless of any of the outside filters that you may have considered before. Just for the fun of it, you know? You might get something completely unexpected out of it. All right, that is all that I have. This, as I've been saying in every video, this is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying doing these, and I really appreciate all of your likes, all of your views, and I will look forward to seeing you back here again next time. Bye now. I'm this moment.